Hello YouTube. Alpha One will bring you another casual geographic reaction. I'm still working my way through them. Today is going to be a reaction heavy day, so let's go ahead and get into this next one. Animals that are down bad. Not familiar with that term, but I'm sure that he will explain more about what that is in a moment. So let's go ahead and get the usual stuff out of the way. If you like the video, indicate so down below. If you have suggestions for future videos, drop them in the comments. And if you aren't already, please hit that subscribe button and help us reach that next major goal of 1,000 subscribers. In the description will be a link to the original video, as well as links to Gaming Glorious' Instagram and Twitter accounts. So go ahead, head over there, follow us on those. I'm continuously working on uploading things that are of relevance, interest, or potentially eye-catching to really help expand the channel's presence on social media platforms. So, with all that said and done, let's go ahead and get into this.
Here are some animals that are down bad. The bowerbird has to build this structure called a bower to impress a feathery gold digger. It takes him 36 hours to build and he has to maintain it every day for 3 months. All that and he can still get rejected because in life there's always a guy with a bigger ring and there's always a bird with a bigger bower. Not to mention his ops will destroy his bower when he's not looking. So much disrespect for so little reward. Next is the kakapo. This flightless bird will make a booming mating call 8 hours a day, every day for 4 months. And because he's endangered, he can get no response. Like a guy right swiping everything on Tinder and getting no matches, it's a lot of effort that goes to waste. They're down so horrendous they'll try to mate with other species of birds, and even an extra curvy piece of driftwood. It's so bad that if you wear green in front of him, he'll try to mate with you too. The Greenland shark is down abysmal, it's all nature's fault. They don't hit puberty until they're 150 years old, meaning one born right now won't be able to mate until the year 2171. Until then, he just soullessly wanders the Arctic Ocean, either waiting for a century and a half or the sweet release of death. You should never be down that bad, but if you are, hit that link, you won't be disappointed. Here are some animals that are down bad. If a ferret goes into heat and doesn't mate, they can straight up die of anemia. One of the few animals that are physiologically down tough. That's because estrogen causes her body to stop producing red blood cells until she mates, and if she doesn't, could be curtains. There might not be an animal more disrespected than a male hyena. The only real estate he owns is at the very bottom of the social ladder, where even female cubs outrank him. When he joins a new clan, he gets ruthlessly hazed like a freshman pledge. He can only eat the scraps the girls leave behind, and he's only allowed to mate when and where the females feel like it. Not like he has a lot to look forward to, because his partner's probably packing more than he is. Fur seals are down tremendous. They fight each other and only the strongest are allowed to mate. Which means the weaker beta males get banished to the bachelor side of the beach, where they have no women and no shame. Because as you've probably seen, they resort to this. I honestly can't even tell who's down worse. This wouldn't even be an issue if you used a live stream app to meet new people. Cause life should never get this bad, whether you're a blue-balled fur seal or a penguin that society's gonna blame for dressing that way. Normal things that animals do that would kill you. If you...
Okay, so as best I can figure, down bad is a term that means difficulty mating or having difficulty finding mates. I was not familiar with that term until now, so I really don't know what to think about it. But let's go ahead and just keep powering through, shall we?
If you hung out with a group of flamingos, you would die. The water they stand in is so toxic that it would strip the skin off your legs in seconds and probably burn a hole in your throat. If you tried to dive with a sperm whale, you wouldn't make it back up. They can dive 1,000 meters down. The water pressure from being that deep would cause your lungs to collapse and your blood vessels to burst. Not only that, but if you swam up too fast, nitrogen bubbles would form in your body and kill you from the inside.
Yeah.
And if a bubble formed in your brain, say goodnight. The click beetle launches itself in the air with 400 G-forces. In case you were wondering, 10 G-forces can cause you to lose consciousness and 20 can evict your soul from your body permanently. They may be small, but no other animal can handle that kind of force, and a fraction of that would send you to a Pop Smoke concert. Things animals do that would kill you. The gannet will dive from over 100 feet and hit the water at 62 miles per hour. If you tried that, you'd probably shatter every bone in your body. Gannets have built-in airbags to absorb the shock, but since you don't, hitting the water that hard would factory reset your soul. The Baral sheep lives high in the Himalayan mountains. They can live 17,000 feet on cliffs where one slip means stage fatality. But the thing is, they don't slip. In fact, they'll actively try to yeet each other off the mountain. If you lived here and didn't fall to your season finale, you'd either freeze to death or suffocate. Trying to breathe that high up is like trying to breathe through a straw while on a treadmill. You might be wondering why they choose to live in a refrigerated cemetery. This is why. The weta is the most hardcore cricket you'll ever see. When it gets too cold, they'll straight up freeze solid. And when the ice melts, they walk it off like it's nothing. Their heart and brain literally stop as all the water in their body becomes ice. When ice forms in your body, it destroys every cell it touches, and even if you warm up, those cells are gone. But when you give Jesus plot armor to a cricket, this is what you get. Some of the most ridiculous ways animals can send you to the afterlife. Some eagles will drop tortoises from disrespectful heights to let them get clapped by gravity. And if you happen to be standing under this aerial execution, you can get Final Destination by a tortoiseshell like
I remember reading about this when I was listening to something, I think it was possibly Overly Sarcastic Productions or some other kind of classical literature channel. It was talking about someone who did get killed by a tortoise being dropped on their head, some kind of Greek guy.
Mario Kart. Apparently Greek playwright Aeschylus got his life subscription.
That's him! That's him! I remember this. Apparently the eagle mistook his head for a rock and dropped a tortoise on it to try and crack open the shell. This was him!
Canceled after getting sniped by an eagle that thought his bald head was a stone. Wombats are cute, but one, they're much bigger than you think, and two, they're the kind of thick that ends lives. Because this breathing plush toy is built like a furry fire hydrant, they can actually send your car off the ground if you run them over. And if you're going fast enough, your car can actually get flipped over by this Aussie bush bear. Anteaters are one of those cute animals that can put you in a recently deleted folder. When threatened, they T-pose. But if you mistake this for a hug, you'll get slashed by claws that are sharp enough to sever arteries, spill your insides out, and evict your soul from your body. If you think I'm exaggerating, it happened to a guy. There are some animals you wouldn't want to be your father. The southern elephant seal is an 8,000-pound blubber package of toxic masculinity. These frat boys of the sea only care about food and getting with females, and they'll personally delete any baby seals to shoot their shot with the mother. They'll even erase their own children in the process. Not to mention, while pursuing the female, they can actually crush any infant seals that don't get out the way. These one-man abortion clinics will also kidnap baby seals as a way to force the mother. Grizzly bears are just as bad. Because this 900-pound homicidal deadbeat is allergic to child support, he'll onside any bear cubs he sees, even if they end up being his. They see bear cubs as future competition, so they'll remove them from the census before they even get a chance at adulthood. And since they immediately choose murder, they can end up erasing cubs that they helped create. Male sand gobies will watch over a brood of eggs, but if he thinks they're taking too long to develop, he'll straight up eat them. And the reason is because the longer he waits, the more mating opportunities he misses. So he'll Casey Anthony his children and continue chasing women, because if they fear eternal damnation, they sure don't act like it. Animals that you would not want to be your mother. Cheating is wrong, and I will never justify it. But if a mother house sparrow suspects her mate of infidelity, she'll find the nest of his side chicks and murder any baby she sees. Meaning you would get airdropped into heaven's inbox because your homicidal step-tweety would erase you to get her baby daddy to act right. If you're born as one of two panda twins, there's a coin flip chance that your mother is going to leave you to die. Mother pandas aren't built for more than one baby, so she'll take Zach and tell Cody to F himself. Black bears are the opposite. They usually have 2 to 3 cubs, but if she only has one, she'll disown him because apparently raising only one isn't worth her effort. Without the mother, the cub will either starve or get turned into a carpet by an aggressive male. In this case, being an only child is a death sentence. The harp seal is actually a good mother, for 12 days. After that, she pieces out like a true blubber deadbeat. The catch is that the seal pup can't swim until it's 8 weeks old, meaning it has to sit in an air-conditioned cemetery and pray to whatever higher-being seals believe in that a polar bear doesn't show up and take it off the census. Cheetahs are the biggest example of fumbling the bag. They're cats that are bad at being cats. Tigers have strength. Lions have gang mentality. Jaguars have whatever this is. But unless it's a 100-meter dash or a bird call contest, cheetahs take an L in everything else. They're the only cat built to run and not run fades. Their success rate is D+, but it doesn't even matter because they get pocket checked by lions and hyenas. And because it's a lightweight, it can't even stand up for itself. At least leopards can climb trees to avoid this. But with non-retractable claws, they can't climb trees. What is retractable is their right to live. Because 95% of cheetah cubs get clapped before they hit puberty. It means the world literally gets an A+ in erasing cheetahs. It's so bad that cheetah cubs are designed to look like honey badgers to look more intimidating. This African big cat has to impersonate a bush weasel just to have a chance at getting taken seriously. Wait, I forgot. You can't even call them big cats because nature thought it would be funny to make them chirp like birds. Now I will say one thing. Their brains don't actually overheat when they're sprinting. It's a myth, but considering how its entire existence is already a roast, I wouldn't be surprised. They get bodies so hard they have trouble breeding in zoos, making it the only cat with erectile dysfunction. On the tier list, they go into special purgatory bastard tier until they get their act together. Weird animal abilities that you probably wish you had. The armadillo is one of the few animals that can procrastinate being pregnant. Because of delayed implantation, the armadillo can postpone a pregnancy for up to 3 years if she thinks there's not enough food, a drought, or if she just doesn't feel like it. If we were bears, we wouldn't get diabetes. Because of protein in their fat cells prevent insulin issues, a grizzly can eat about 60 Big Macs a day without joining Weight Watchers or some weird show on TLC. You know exactly what I'm talking about. If we were like bears, we could have our cake and eat it too without becoming a statistic. Never understood the expression, why would you have your cake if you're not going to eat it? This jellyfish is immortal. Kind of. When damaged or stretched, this jellyfish can hit the reset button on its own existence and return to a juvenile state called a polyp. Because this, they live life on recruit difficulty while we get violated on veteran. It's probably better this way because if we Benjamin buttoned every time we were stressed, nobody would graduate high school. And last, the barnacle. No particular reason, I just think it would be cool to be one. 100% no other reason why I would want to be... Oh, my croissants are ready. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently a lot of people don't know what this is. Basically put a honey badger on creatine, give the personality of a power tool, and you get the sloth bear. This, in my opinion, is the most dangerous bear in the world, because they may not be the biggest, but they're the most likely to press you for no reason. They don't need fire to apply smoke, and they don't need clippers to run fades. They wake up and choose bodily harm, and their method of attack is going straight for the face, mauling you so severely that you become a stranger to your mother and your iPhone. We're talking about a bear that will occasionally hand L's to tigers, especially if there's children involved. And at 6 feet, 300 pounds with a top speed of 30 miles per hour, they'd violate you in the jungle and the NFL Combine. They can also swim and climb trees like a Roy squirrel. They don't use this to get away from a fight though, because animals that they run the ones with like leopards can climb too. Unlike American black bears, sloth bears are very much about it. Also, apparently they have a great vocal range, and that's another flex they shouldn't have. As insectivores, they typically eat termites and ants, which is great because once upon a time a sloth bear developed a taste for humans, and he put 12 people on shirts and another dozen in the hospital. To be fair, the only reason they're like this is because unlike polar bears and grizzlies, they have to worry about tigers and leopards, which is understandable, but they will take you off the census. You did not know about the honey badger. They're not badgers, they're African bush weasels with anger issues. They're not immune to bee stings, but they love honey so much and care so little that they'll actively eat honeycombs while getting stung. Even though they have tough skin, getting stung over and over can kill them, but they'll die before they care. It's believed chicken cubs evolved to look like them to get bullied less. They're the only animals that are intelligent enough to have fears but ballsy enough to disregard them. Out of all the animals they bully, they save extra disrespect for leopards. Unlike lions and hyenas, leopards hunt alone, meaning this roid weasel will run its pockets like the IRS. They're smaller than you think. At about 35 pounds, they're in the same weight class as a house cat. If you shoot one and don't catch it right in its skull, there's a good chance it's gonna walk it off and you're gonna have to sleep at night knowing this Oreo rat memed you. They smell really bad, and like their cousin the skunk, they launch stink bombs when threatened. They actually come from prehistoric Asia. They could dig through an asphalt parking lot if they wanted to. They're introverts that only tolerate each other to mate and reproduce. Otherwise, these equality symbols will tail social distance. They're 90% mirror lats because you couldn't pay them to give a shit. Some animals that will make you feel.
I like honey badgers. I really do. They are like top tier, don't give a fuck. I do what I want, but I want you to try and stop me kind of attitude, and I love it. Oh. Animals that'll make you feel smaller.
Feel smaller. This is your 1000th reminder that moose are pretty freaking ridiculous. They can be 7 feet tall at the shoulders and weigh 1,500 pounds. If you see it on the road, tell God who sent you. I feel like people disregard this picture because they think it's obviously edited. While the saltwater crocodile can grow to 17 feet long. This prehistoric delete button can be longer than some trucks, and we as a society need to be more aware of this. You know wombats. Cute, right? How cute are they now? How cute are they now? Also, if you try to run them over, they can actually send your car off the ground because they're built like kegs on legs. Horses are big. Disrespectfully big, actually. Now that very well might be a tiny person, but we're still looking at 3 units with legs. They're not even the biggest horses. I'm just mesmerized by this picture. I'm not going to ask the question, though. We're all thinking it, but I'm not going to say it. Tiger sharks can grow to 18 feet long. My only beef with them is that they eat everything. They've been found with shoes, tires, license plates, and a suit of armor in their stomachs. I don't think people understand just how big blue whales are. Or maybe they just don't want to. Because I know I don't. Females are actually bigger, and the largest one ever was 110 feet long. God got real disrespectful with his choices when he got to the ocean.
Yeah, I'm kind of picking up on that. I do like how he has merch. I really like how he has that. I know these videos are like 10 minutes long a piece, but they feel so much shorter because they're just that entertaining. I still have utter enjoyment when it comes to honey badgers. They are just so funny. And the way that he presents his information, he is getting progressively more to the point where he is giving information and delivering it in a way that is honestly really funny and at the same time really informative. It's the kind of funny that makes you really want to listen closely and pick up what he's saying. But that's the end of this video. If you like this video, indicate so down below. If you have suggestions for future videos, drop them in the comments. And if you aren't already, please hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with our uploads and help us get to that next big goal on the channel. There's a link in the description for the original video, so go check him out. And if you want to follow us on social media, there's links in for that as well. A link for the Instagram and another link for the Twitter. With all that said and done, this has been Alpha White Wolf. I'm signing off. You keep howling, Wolfpack.